Hi, Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center. It's time to do Taroscopes again. We're going to be doing Taroscopes for the month of December for the sign of Libra. That's Libra Sun, Libra Moon, Libra Rising. It has been a very challenging last few months. And part of the reason for that is because we were in eclipse season, and the eclipses occurred in the sign of Libra and in the sign of Taurus. We had a new moon in Libra and a full moon in Taurus. The interesting thing about that combination is it sort of brings in the energy of the last nodal placement with the North Node in Taurus and the South Node in Scorpio. And this new nodal placement that we have now with the North Node in Aries and the South Node in Libra. And so it was a combination really of the last 4 years. And there's a lot of things coming up, relationships coming up from the past. In Scorpio, when the South Node was in Scorpio, the relationships would, be more like super emotional, and this energy of revenge. And then we had the nodes change, and the South Node moved into Libra, into your sign. And you would have thought that things would have maybe been less intense in that sort of revengey kind of way. But when the nodes shifted, Pluto was square the nodes and remained square the nodes. So it's been a challenge, because as a Libra, and the South Node being in Libra, and everything sort of having to move through that energy, especially in this case with the nodes move backwards. So the people in the latter degrees of Libra have the nodes on their planet, on their Libra planets. And then as the longer it stays, the nodes will go lower. So then the rest of Libra, in the case of the South Node, and in the case of the North Node Aries, sort of gets swiped by the nodes, and it brings up a lot of the past and a renegotiation of contracts. And so Libras have been very busy, because there's one thing you guys understand: it's contracts and how to relate, and the challenges of that. So and then of course the fact that the new moon solar eclipse was in the sign of Libra, and we know what happened in October into November, right? So we understand how intense and how difficult it's been. So we move into December now, and the only thing, let's take a look at the actual astrology. We'll look at the astrology first. We have it all set up here. Let me just make it a bit bigger. Okay. There we go. So we have the sun in Sagittarius until the 21st, when it moves into Capricorn. That, of course, is the first day of winter here in the Northern Hemisphere, or the first day of summer if you happen to be down under, as it were, or in the Southern Hemisphere. Whenever any of the cardinal points get hit, and of course you're a cardinal sign, Libra, so you understand about cardinality, starting, initiating. It brings a lot of energy. It brings a lot of energy to whatever project or whatever. And so we have this sun in Capricorn energy starting to like get more active. And for the majority of the month, the sun is in the third house. So you're going to be focusing on your immediate environment, your neighborhood, your just what you see outside your front door, the places that you go to most commonly, these short trips. this is where your attention will go, and you may have to make a lot of short trips at this time, right? And of course, this is before the holidays, right? And so you have Christmas shopping or Hanukkah shopping or Kwanzaa shopping or whatever shopping, or getting ready, for family events, and getting stuff to make cookies and whatever. So you're out and about locally a little bit more perhaps. And then the sun moves in to the fourth house when it moves into Capricorn. And so you're focusing on the actual home. This might be a time when you have a project, you want to do a project, a renovation, redo, or fixing something. Because we're dealing with Capricorn, a lot of times it can be a structural thing. We have Mercury. Mercury starts the month in Capricorn, moves in December 1st. Mercury moves into Capricorn and goes retrograde on the 13th. So it is in, here we go. It starts in your fourth house, moving through, then turns retrograde and goes back into your third house. Again, there's a lot of energy. You can see where all the planets are sitting here. There's a lot of energy in your neighborhood and in your home. So that's where things are going to be focused this month for you. We do have a new moon in Sagittarius, 21 degrees of Sag to be exact. And we have a full moon in Cancer. So we have the new moon planting new seeds in that third house. This might be a time when you may want to start like a creative writing project, or take a class, or start writing your book, or have a journalism experiment. So these are the kinds of things that you might want to initiate at this time. You might want to do a podcast, right? That could be something you might want to do. So we have this new moon in Sag. Sag is it's optimistic, it's adventurous, it's like what's the next adventure going to be kind of energy. And so you get a chance to plant that seed. Mercury again starts the month, moves back into, I said that already, back into the third house. Venus, which is your ruling planet, does start the month in Libra, but is only there for 4 days before it moves into Scorpio, where it spends most of the rest of the month, and then moving into Sagittarius on the 20, let's see, where is it here? Venus, where's Venus? Oh, the 29th. The 29th. It's just a couple of days with Venus and Sag. So for the most of the time, it's in Scorpio, which is your second house. And so this is really the second house is what's essential. Venus is what you value, and of course, Scorpio is a water sign. So it can be a relationship to things with this. Maybe this is a good time to sort of, actually, this kind of works with the idea of like, I know for me, when it's time to do the Christmas, when you open the ornaments, there's like a sentimental value. It's like it brings you back to when you got that ornament, or when you made that ornament, or who that ornament is symbolic of, or a story around those ornaments when we bring out our Christmas stuff. So that's kind of the energy in here, about the past, right? The full moon, I know I talked about the new moon. The full moon, of course, is going to be up here in the 10th house. So your emotions are going to be very evident. Then, of course, the sun is always opposite the moon. Is going to be in that 4th house. This is the axis, the parental axis, as it were, the axis of security, both emotional and financial security. And so those are the issues that sort of come to a head or to fruition with the full moon. That full moon is happening on the 26th, the day after Christmas and the first day of Kwanzaa. Let's see, what else? Saturn is moving direct, still moving through your house of health. So you always need to be careful about that. Jupiter and Neptune both which start the month direct, retrograde, turn direct Both Jupiter and Neptune are planets of expansion, so there has been almost like a breathing, like just like a drawing in of energy, and now things are going to start to flow out and flow into next year. We've been in a 7 year all year, and seven is a very isolating number. It's a very analytical number. It's about sort of, getting into this place of really figuring out where the boundaries are, what you're able to do, what you're capable of, what you're here to do, like all of that energy. And next year we're going into an 8, and this is when things really this is when we really start to work. But we can work to actually build something. It's really this year we've been through 2023 has been a time of getting to know ourselves at our core level. So I have a little ladybug flying around my desk. So you see something go past my face. It's a ladybug. All right. Jupiter. Yeah. So Neptune goes direct first on the 24th, day, Christmas Eve, actually, for those of you who celebrate Christmas. And Neptune. So Neptune on the 24th, Jupiter on the 30th. And Uranus is still retrograde. It's going to be retrograde until January. And then everything is going to be, all the outer planets are going to be moving forward. So the beginning of the year, things really like go. So we'll see what happens with that. But we're still in the process. We're still sort of slowing down to turn around and move in a new direction, which the vibration of the month, 19-1, that's the 12th month plus the 7 universal year, is one of illumination and sort of seeing the path ahead of you. So we're definitely going to have that energy of the path ahead of us, but it's going to take us a while to sort of gather up our stuff and really start to move forward. And then I think that happens when all the planets are going direct. Okay. All right. Let's see. What else do I want to say here? So because you're a Venus rule sign, I highlighted the stuff that's happening with Venus. If you want to know like exactly what's going on during these weeks, what these aspects may mean in the larger scale and the cycles therein, you can always check out my astrology Kabbalah of whatever week it is, the first week, the second week, the third week. And the astrology and Kabbalah of the month in December. I do the astrology, I do the Kabbalah part, and then I do the first week usually. And then depending on how much stuff is going on and within the week, I'll try to sometimes I'll do 2 weeks together. It's usually every week. So I'm just telling you that in case you want to get real specific on this, on the astrology part. Okay, I'll stop now. So we have Venus, of course, ingressing into Scorpio. She opposes Jupiter when she's in Scorpio because Jupiter, of course, is in Taurus, right? So Venus opposite Jupiter gives us a perspective. The only issue is we have to watch we don't overextend ourselves financially with that. Like what the hell, I'm gonna get it because I deserve it. It's been a hard year. If you really can't afford it, so you got to be a little bit careful with that stuff. We have us so that's the first week. Second week, we have Venus make a sextile to Mercury. They're having a conversation. Venus, of course, at this point is in Scorpio. Mercury is in Capricorn. This is really like serious talk here. Serious talk about what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What do we need to get done here? It's an important communication. Okay, important communications happening around relationship, around talking about relationships and how we can build them, how we can build these lines of communication so that we can be of help to each other instead of hurting each other. On the third week, we have Venus making an opposition to Uranus. This is very sudden. This is when things change quickly. It could be a relationship that, suddenly disappears or suddenly appears. But you do get a perspective. It's good not to be too impulsive with this. You know, like you're going to see something, you don't have to necessarily jump right at it. You can give it just a little bit of time just to make sure that you're not like completely like snowblind by the experience. Okay. We have Venus making a waning trine to Neptune on the 4th week. That's a lovely, lovely energy. So there's a lot that actually the Venus aspects this month, you know, the opposition to Uranus, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because of the sudden nature of Uranus and Venus's relationships. We're always a little bit concerned about that as a Libra, but you know, things need to be seen, I guess. And oh goodness gracious. So, but the trine to Neptune is lovely. It's a 240-degree trine. It's got that social reward energy. It's got the energy of like learning from each other and you know and the like. So disseminating. It's a disseminating trine. And then Venus sextiles Pluto. So we have Venus opposing Uranus, trining Venus and sextiling Pluto. So it's hitting all of the transpersonal planets. Venus, right? Venus, the planet that has been through the mill and like little I've witnessed, you know. So of course, you know, it might be because it was Leo. We kind of all saw it. But and then Venus will ingress into Sag. And again, that happens on the 29th. So and then Venus, you know, Venus in Scorpio can be a little bit like, I must have you, like you have to watch for that. But once she goes into Sag, she's sort of like, yeah, who cares? I'm gonna go on an adventure. So she's a little bit more freedom loving in Sag when she's been able to like, you know, unchain herself from Scorpio. All right, so that's what's happening with the astrology. So I wanted to use the good tarot this month because I think last month I used the Thoth on you, and if I did, I apologize. Oh, who got the Thoth this month? Gemini. Gemini. It wasn't bad cards though. The Thoth is great. But when the cards are bad and you're using the Thoth, you're like, oh. All right, but they weren't. They weren't. So don't fret for your friends who happen to be Geminis, except for a couple of specific Geminis who are probably going to have a real hard time. But if you want to know who they might be, you're going to have to watch Gemini. All right. All right. Libra. Oh, Libra. You guys need a vacation. Oy, oy, oy. Oish. Oy vey. A vacation you need. We could all use a vacation. It'd be interesting if we lived in a world that like where our everyday normal stuff was just so lovely that on vacation we had to go do you know like do like play acting in war games and stuff where nobody actually gets hurt, but just you get that energy out. Opposite of what we're doing now. Tenevere. It's done. It's over. Feathers are flying. This is the Ten of Swords. It means that we're at the end of something. So the very first card is the end. But within the end, within the 10, the 1 0 is the one, right? You add 1 and 0 and you get 1. So every ending is a new beginning. Let's see what challenges that. Do you have the focus? Do you have the concentration? The what's the word I'm looking for? Do you have the capability to utilize your mind and focus on what you want? This is about focused intention. And it is a challenge. So it can be a challenge because you're like everything's just blew away. Like, what do I focus on? I'm just like watching everything just go, right? Um, so you may, do may you like you're not in the place to think about like focus intention. Or it can be asking the question, do you have focused intention? Because the thing is, as something goes away, something new begins. And the magician card as a challenge is saying, you have to create your reality. You have to create what it is that you want to bring into your life. Do you have the ability, the concentration, the discipline? See, it's discipline. The magician is the magician because they're disciplined. They know how to focus their intention on the path you are here to walk, the chariot. It's time to move on. Time to move on. You're on your path, however. Sorry. Uh-oh. I might have to do a trick, guys. So sorry about this. This pisses me off like crazy. All right, I'll be right back. This is the trick I learned. It's faster. I'll try not to make too many sudden moves. In the past, we have the moon, lunacy. We're feeling that, but it's in the past. Something that was meant to come up and come out and be expressed. The moon is a really can be some really dark stuff. It's the stuff that's underground or undercover, and it will occasionally need to express itself, and I think it has. And that's in the past, though. So let's see what's up in the sky. The Seven of Water. This is all the possibilities, all the possibilities. I would say sometimes this card is illusion and delusion, but in this deck, it doesn't really strike me that way. And the first thing that came to mind was like really think about it, right? 7 is about really analyzing. So analyze what it is that, well, instead of picking one thing, like be balanced in all those things, right? Be balanced in all those things. We have the 10 of Wands. This is the burden bearer. 10 of fire in this deck. A lot of balls in the air. A lot of balls in the air. And you have to be real careful. You're real concentrated so you don't burn yourself. But it is time to unburden yourself. So we have the mind is clear. Now it's fire. It's interesting. There are 2 10s in this. How people see, how you're seen from the outside. We get the Page of Earth. So somebody who is young and or inexperienced, in case you're not that young and you're just like, I'm not young, but we're all young at heart, so that's all that matters. But maybe somebody who's not as good at this particular thing that you're going to, but is a good student, because that's what that card is about, being a good student. In the domestic situation, we have love. This is the lover's card, choices. So there are choices to be made around love. It can also mean that love is in your home. Hopes and fears, you fear sadness, you fear the pain, and you hope that it'll go away. Five of Cups. We have to feel what we have to feel, and eventually we do let it go. We have to, so we can move on, but it's never that easy. We have the Seven of Air again, another seven. The Seven of Air can be too many voices sometimes, but I really feel like with all these sevens coming up, ones and sevens so far, that before you want to like really like give yourself the space and the time to think about, to feel about, to dream about what it is that you want to bring forth. Let's see if we can get a major arcana, the Seven of Fire. I'll hold them up in a second. The Queen of Water and the Ace of Water. So no major arcanas. So this points to Seven of Fire. This is kind of adventurous. Queen of Cups and the Ace of Cups, or Ace of Water. So there's this energy of being courageous enough to love again. That's what it looks like to me. Okay, underneath it all, we have the World, the King of Fire, and the Sun. So there looks like the world is the end, and we started with the end, right? So the Ten of Fire in the immediate environment, there's just some things you got to deal with them, and it'll be done. And then December is a little bit about dealing with the paperwork. Deal with the paperwork. All right. And so underneath it all, we have the end of a cycle. And then we have this beautiful, this is one of my favorite, like King of Fire, with his fiery heart. This is either meeting somebody who has this energy, just full of love and laughter and that fire. The fire of love, as opposed to the fire of anger, which so many people, so many men especially, it's like the only outlet that they can find, And then we have the Sun, which is illumination. So by the end of the by so you things will be illuminated to you. You don't worry that I don't know what to do next or whatever, but what it's saying is that you're on your path, and you just really need to work on your focus and your discipline. Work, maybe some meditation, and try not to do things that are going to distract or going to make you distracted. So like listening and watching two things or three things at once, that kind of stuff, the distractive stuff. All right, I'm also going to pull a Starseed Oracle. So let me put that over there. This is the deck I decided to use for all the signs this month. All right. Okay. Sorry, I'm having issues. One more shuffle. Get over my issues. You're not for everyone. But you're a Libra. I need to be for everyone. No, you don't. And I was only teasing, by the way. Okay. You're not for everyone. Okay, I'll hold this up. The world is filled with people who, no matter what you do, just won't like you. But it's also filled with those who love you fiercely. They are your people. You're not for everyone, and that's okay. Talk to the people who can hear you. Don't waste your precious time and gifts trying to convince others of your value. They won't ever want what you're selling. Don't try to convince them to walk alongside you. You'll be wasting both your time and theirs, and will likely inflict unnecessary wounds that will take precious time to heal. You're not for them, and they're not for you. Politely wave them on and continue on your way. Sharing your path with someone is a sacred gift. Don't cheapen the path with don't cheapen it by rolling yours in the wrong direction. Keep facing your true north. Pulling this card means you're being called to embrace your uniqueness, to own your weirdness, to let the world see who you really are, to reveal your multifaceted, multidimensional nature, not to dim your light according to whom is in your presence, to own all parts of yourself so that your people, the ones who are the same kind of weird as you, can recognize you when your paths cross. It's a hard, it's a little bit of a hard sell for Libra, because Libra are so aware of what other people are thinking. So kind of this card saying, mind your business and just be you. It's okay. And maybe that's the new path. Maybe that's why there's so many sevens in that reading. The seven of air and the seven of water, because you have to, what is it that you want, Libra? All right. Have yourself a great month. Get some rest. Next year is going to be a lot of work. And it's already been a challenging time for you, Libra. So you can get a vacation, Libra. I say, even if it's a home station, staycation. I made something up. All right. Well, anyway, have a wonderful holiday season, whatever holiday you may celebrate. If you would like a reading with me, this is a great time to get a reading or get it as a gift for somebody. Self-knowledge is priceless. If you'd like to support my work, you can give me a thumbs up, share with another Libra maybe, or become a patron. There's links below. For as little as $5 a month, you can help me out, and I can put more work out and make my work a little bit more out there. All right. Okay. Take care, everyone. Have a blessed holiday again in December 2023. Feel like I've been running a relay race. All right. Take care. Namaste.